All right, welcome, guys. This is Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Junior Frederick, and you are now tuned into the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to go from bland to industry leading brand. If you are now tuned in live, I need you to do two things. Number one, put some flames in the chat. So wherever you're listening from, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, um, YouTube, just put the flames, right? And the second thing I need you to do is let us know where you're listening in from. Listen, guys, Breakfast with the Brand is a global, it is an international podcast. And we do value, we love seeing where you're listening in from. I know a lot of people are from Florida. Okay, I see Oregon in the building. Shout out to Kiana. All right, I see Sheen, Amal, Lila, Shade. All right, so let's keep putting those flames. By the way, guys, listen. If you have enjoyed Breakfast with the Brand so far, I know we've been doing it for quite some time. I need you to do another thing, which is like the show. So if you're viewing this on YouTube, like the show, right? Like, also comment, and then share it with one other person who needs this information. I have with me this morning, as usual, the king of branding himself, Mr. Shan Raiz. So Shan, when you're ready, let's come out.
Well, I've been ready, brother. I've been ready. I was born ready, right? I just wanted to put a link in the chat real quick for the brand challenge. Guys, if you're not on this challenge, you don't want to gamble with your future, right? You don't want to gamble with your future and leave it to chance. Leave it to chance. If you're watching this, like I know my audience, I know my audience, I know who I speak to. If you're watching this right now, you're probably from we serve different demographics, but our main stock is around 40 to 65 in age range. If you're watching this, you've done the gambling, right? You've done the gambling, you've done the hanging out, you've done the hoping, you've done the education piece, and where you're at is a result of it. You're here because you want to put a zero behind it. You're here because you want to amplify it, clarify, simplify, and amplify. If you haven't heard of the brand challenge, this is what we're doing right now. And you need to be a part of it so we can help you escalate, motivate, and insulate yourself from the effects of outside conditions that can do you harm. They say ignorance to the law is no excuse, right? They say ignorance to the law is no excuse. And if COVID hasn't taught us anything, it should have taught us that the tectonic plates of business and life are constantly shifting. In order to become insulated or resistant or protected against those shifts in the world's economy and in business, you want to develop your skills and your ability to operate as a leader. And this is what we're teaching on the brand challenge. So I just had to like put that out there immediately so you can take advantage immediately, because as soon as we leave here, we're shifting over into a 6-hour training. 6 hours. No fluff, no light stuff. Like, this is one of our specialties. This is what we do. We prepare people to move from the 20th century in business and in their life into the 21st century, pre-pandemic to post-pandemic, and out there and outdated to insulated and protected. So I just wanted to put that out there, Ms. Junior. Pardon me. I know we just saying good morning, and I know there's a lot of people. Go ahead, do your welcome, do your customary welcomes. I just wanted to, put
Yeah,
what's going on after this.
that's fine because if you didn't say it, I would have said it anyways, right? So that's 100% fine. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to welcome and say good morning to everybody here. I want to bring up a few people. So good morning. So Shade, phenomenal morning to Shade. I see we have Coach B, right? So Lila, Coach B, good morning. Let's see Amar. So Amar, good morning to you. We have Kiana, good morning. We have Sheen. So Sheen Victoria, shout out to you. Good morning. I see we have Telma Taylor. Good morning from Tennessee. I think it's
Good
actually her
morning.
first time, isn't it?
Ah,
There you go.
Thelma,
So she said it's her first time listening.
very good,
Very
very
good.
good. I'm actually coming to Tennessee on the 30th and 31st. I'll be speaking in Tennessee, and we'll provide details for that a little bit later if you're interested.
Very nice.
Yep,
And finally, I see Jalita. So phenomenal morning to Jalita.
I'm in the morning.
All right. So guys, listen, it's almost time for a short break. But when we come back, we are gonna be talking a little bit about what we spoke about yesterday on the brand challenge. I'm gonna ask my team, if possible, to please put the link in LinkedIn. I see it's up on YouTube, but we want to get that on LinkedIn and also on Facebook, so people could read a little bit more about exactly what the brand challenge is and why they absolutely need to be there today. All right. So, guys, we're gonna go to a short break. But as we go to this break, I'm gonna say, if you're excited, if you're just happy to just be alive, just be able to view this podcast, definitely like, comment, and share with one other friend who you know needs information when it comes to business development and business growth. Let's grow.
Let's grow.
All right, guys, welcome back. This is Breakfast with the Brand, the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to go from bland to industry leading brand. If you are now coming in, just put it in the chat, put some flames, number one. Number two, let us know where you're listening in from. So, Shan, let's get some conversation going. I'm very, very excited to talk about business media.
All right. Well, first, let me just say that I like to add a refreshing clarity and sobriety to an otherwise drunken and intoxicated marketplace, right? We have become inundated, drunken, malevolent with scrolling, the endless scroll. I promise you, if brains could leak out of ears, right? When it comes to the social media pundits and the addiction, the addiction to social media, the dependency upon social media needs to be shifted for adults and the young alike, right? So, one of those incredible shifts that we've talked about, the tectonic plates, before we moved into this segment, one of those shifts that are taking place is from a drunken, intoxicated social media delirium into a positioning or a repositioning and a restructuring from social media to business media, where higher, more evolved, intelligent minds from intelligent beings are utilizing that which is that which other people are using for Candy Crush and whatever those games are and whatever those sites are. We're shifting that and we're using that to become more productive, more impactful, more fruitful, more thought provoking, and more results oriented. That is the purpose of business media. So, where you lose yourself and go to sleep on social media, you wake yourself up and add value to your lives and other people's lives through the implementation of business media.
It's a very that's very powerful. I want to ask the audience, how many of you get that? How many of you see that? Because what I hear you saying, Sean, is basically, the transition from social media to business media is really similar to transitioning from a consumer mindset to a producer mindset.
There you
when
go.
you're when you're playing stuff like Candy Crush, I see it as people, or the whoever, that controls that, as collecting data, etc., etc. We're not gonna get too much into that, but essentially you become a consumer on those platforms, right? But when you transition to business media, you're producing content that is bringing back revenue. You become a producer of content for other people to consume. And I believe that is the biggest mindset shift that most people need to make, most entrepreneurs. And when we talk about branding, like, guys, listen, if you're on social media, then you already have a brand. If you're on social media, you already have a brand. The question becomes now, are you going to leverage your brand to become a producer as opposed to a consumer? So I just wanted to throw that out there, Shan, based on what you said.
Definitely. And we also spoke last night about the brand that you already have, right? So if you would indulge yourself, right? Because whether you do this or exercise or not, it's not going to impact our business at all. However, if you do it, it will impact yours. So if you will indulge me and write down the brand that I am at the top of a piece of paper. Write down the brand that I am. And then under that piece of paper, detail your posting regimen, what you do. And you can actually go back to your social media to see if it's business media and look at your last 30 days. That's the brand that you are. And this is for everybody, myself included. I consistently, listen, almost every day, I stay on a business media audit, constantly optimizing, constantly strategizing, constantly innovating. But if you did an audit right now, the brand that I am, and went on business media and looked at the brand that you are, you will find a direct correlation between your positioning and your salary. You are where you are as a result of how resourceful you are and how you use the opportunity that is at your fingertips. Do an audit. Audit yourself.
Right. You know, it reminds me of the of the old saying, you know, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yes,
And
sir.
you know, when you draw the line or the relation between somebody's brand media positioning and you know their income, you know, I find that very interesting.
Hmm.
I've never quite thought about it in that way, but thinking about it now, it seems very interesting.
We
Guys,
always
what do
say
you
it.
think?
We always say it. We
Uh,
always say it. Go ahead, put a one in the chat if you agree or disagree. Right? Put a one in the chat if you agree. Put a two in the chat if you disagree. We're open to discussion. We're open to disagreement. We're open to conversation. Right? Evolving the conversation. Put a one in the chat if you agree. Put a two in the chat if you disagree. However, this is what I'm going to say. You can I can definitely audit your activity and tell your pay grade. Basically, tell you what's in your bank account based on the way you maneuver on business media platforms. If you do this audit, if you did this audit and you were honest with yourself, you could look at your activity, look at your bank account, and say, wow, this is why this results in this. And if you change this, that'll change too, in direct correlation. The only thing is, for all the time that you've been using unproductively, you have to compensate for that unproductive time. And when you come back to the head, when you equalize that, you'll begin to earn. And your bank account will change based on your activity on business media. Why? We have two different kinds of activity in business, primarily. Two, not five nor 10. I don't care about the MBA. I've got two master's degrees. So that business school education, that's completely theory and based on case studies of those who actually did the work, does not impress me at all. In business, there are two primary activities that you will be involved in to bring back a fruition or a result, a revenue laden result. And of course, there's relationships and all that good stuff, but all of that is a derivative. Those are derivatives. All the different compartments and all the departments of your business are derivatives of the two main activities. One is LGA and RGA. And that's it. That's it. LGA is lead generating activity. RGA is revenue generating activity. Lead generating activity or revenue generating activity. And you can see which one or none you really conduct on your business media platforms. And then you turn around and you look at your bank account, and it's a direct correlation of what you are or are not doing on business media.
all right. So I actually have a question. Now, this question, I'm asking this question on behalf of a lot of people that have asked me this question.
Okay.
So, a lot of people, when they begin to brand themselves, they often say to me, "Well, I have a business page, but I also have a personal page. I have a business profile, but I have a personal profile." So, what do you say to people like that? Why do you think that people believe that, for example, okay, let's say you're presenting professionally on business media on like a Facebook page, but on your personal Facebook profile, you have pictures of you out drinking and doing doing stuff that doesn't position you in the best possible way. Why do you think people they can't make the mental, I guess, leap, or they don't understand that there's no such thing? Like when you put it out, it's out.
Oh
So what
yeah.
would you say to somebody like that? How can they make that mental shift?
Study the people that are successful. That's what I would say. Study the people that are successful and see what they do. Success leaves clues, guys. It's not that hard. success leaves clues. It's really not that hard. All you have to do is look at the people that are successful and where you would like to be. Look at the people that you follow. Look at the people that you learn from. Look at the people that you look up to in business, that are successful in business, and see what their personal page consists of. Is it business? Or is it what goes on between 12 and 2 o'clock in the morning? Right? Now, watch this. Now, we teach personal branding. Personal branding. So, this is not to say that you cannot have your personality on your pages, because you can. It's not what, it's how and when. Again, it's not what, it's how and when. There's always a time and a place for different elements of yourself. But when you're starting a business, before you have success, that's where your focus needs to be, or you never will. If you're splintered from the beginning, like Junior said, how you do anything is how you do everything. Last night I said you want to wait until you're probably at about 8, a solid 8 figures, where it's okay for you to kind of bring the family out, because you've got the hedge. And when I say that hedge, I mean it. Like if you're at a couple 6 figures and you're in a situation where you're easily accessible, then you probably don't want to put your wife or your family and your daughter, who goes to the public school around the corner in a neighborhood that's not so great. You probably don't want to put all of that stuff up at the same time that you're building a business and people know that you're worth a couple 6 figures. It's not intelligent for a multitude of reasons. Number one, it takes the focus away from the business that you're trying to build, and it also jeopardizes the people that you are building your business for. So keep the first thing until you are truly successful. Stop thinking that a couple of dollars is a maximum, like super successful, because what you do is you put people in harm's way. You jeopardize. And I know your intentions are good, but they're not sound, nor are they safe.
That was a great point. That was an excellent point, because I know a lot of people say, well, and people have said to me that, um, well, it's my family,
Yeah.
and also like certain people have businesses that are sort of centered around the whole family vibe. So that is a very
My question for that, and I understand it and I recognize it completely. Trust me, I do. My wife is everything. My family is everything. However, you got to keep the first thing. And you want to protect. There's a saying, preserve the best part for yourself. Right? Preserve the best part for yourself. That which is highly treasured, and most important, you don't put that on Front Street, at least not where I come from, right? And I noticed that, watch this, it's okay once you hit a certain level, because once you hit a certain level, there are hedges of protection in place. That makes sense. The whole neighborhood, the schools, the atmosphere, everything is protected and secure. However, if you're really like trying to start a business and you haven't made it, there's still wolves. Like there's still wolves. Like everything is real. There's still wolves, and you have not earned yet, right? You haven't earned the right to position as if you've made it, because you haven't, right? So let's focus on what's the first thing and truly become an authority in your space before you present yourself as an authority in your space and maybe hurt yourself as well as others. That's just one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is nobody cares. Nobody cares. We live in a world of what can you do for me? Right? What can you do for me? So if you're in business to do business and to help people with your products and services, that's the focus. That's the goal. That's why you're in business. Not to do a soft brag, right? And say, oh, I'm taking the family to wherever it may be, because there are other people who are considering doing business with you who can't do that. And they're like, well, why should I give more so they can take a higher level vacation? Right. And how, let me ask this question. Watch this. How do you feel when there's homelessness, lack of phenomenal education, an opioid epidemic, war in other countries, and the president goes golfing? We're talking about leadership. And I know a lot of people, like, when we really start talking about leadership, people are like, that's not what I want to learn. That's fine. However, ask yourself, how do you feel when all of these different things are going on and you're trying to make sense of it, and your president or you're the leader of the free world takes his family on vacation and goes golfing? And remember this, I'm gonna end that with this. Remember, how does it make you feel? Not what do you think? How does it make you feel? And then remember that people buy based on emotions and feelings and justify with logic. Just a thought.
All right. On that note, let's go to a break. Guys, we'll be back very soon. Stay tuned.
I'm Jackie Miller, and I was really drawn to Sean's personality from the moment that I did the Branding Like a Leader challenge. This was the free challenge that he offered, and I'm so glad that he offered it, because I joined the class and I was blown away. First of all, by his giving personality. For me, it was the personality that really drew me in. But then as he was sharing his wealth of knowledge, I realized that there was so much that I didn't know. I already knew there was a lot I didn't know, but there was so much that I didn't know. And he was just freely giving this information. It was evident that he really wanted to help people. And as somebody who likes to help people, that I connected with that. And then I was able to connect not only with Sean, but then with his team, with Junior and with Jason, Mr. B, and just the entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond. One day, something had come up, and Junior he texted me just to see how I was doing. And that really touched my heart. So that relational piece is there. So if you were having any doubts about what Mr. Sean Rais and his team with the brand can offer you, let me let you know. It is a treat and it is a joy, and you will not be disappointed.
All right, guys, welcome back. This is Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Junior Frederick. If you've been enjoying the show so far, put some flames in the chat. If you are now coming in, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, Sean. So we've been talking about a lot. We do have a question though, and I wanna get to that question. By the way, guys, if you do have questions, this is a live show. We will be answering questions live, so feel free to put those questions in the comments.
Please do.
All right, so let's get this question. So Thelma says, in that building space, how do you shield you from wolves?
You stay busy. You stay busy. Keep the first thing the first thing. If you're in an environment where, and everyone is in an environment where people are working, go to work. Go to work. Handle your business for 10 years in an toxic, polluted, and unhealthy environment. I kept my nose to the grindstone. I didn't spread rumors or talk about who I was, what I was building, what I was doing. I didn't try to celebrate a success that I hadn't achieved yet, nor did I placate a facade as if I had arrived somewhere I hadn't gotten yet. That's what happens. People try to celebrate in haste. It's called premature, premature celebration. What happens when you prematurely celebrate? A lot of times there's jealousy and envy where you think there's love and there's not. And what happens, this happens especially in low socioeconomic environments where you'll have a basketball player. The basketball player goes to college, gets drafted. Before he's able to leave, they start throwing celebrations. They start telling the entire neighborhood, we're leaving, we're moving to Hollywood, we're doing this and we're doing that. Everything is absolutely phenomenal. Our lives have been changed. And then something bad happens. Same thing in music, same thing in acting, same thing in the high level industry. Don't celebrate until you achieve. And you know when you achieve, you achieve when you've actually earned the right to move in a safe socioeconomic setting. The everything changes. The zip code changes, the industry changes, the median income of the neighborhood changes. And then still only celebrate or flout what you do if you're in that kind of influencer space. If you're not, then be humble. Be humble. That's the only reason why people get the negative responses is because of the lack of humility. People are like, well, why does it make a difference about me? Why should I care? And why is it important for me to know what you're doing unless you're trying to make fun of me or put me down? That's how people feel. And that's why people get treated the way they do. Because your success, listen, guys, as much as you would like it to be and would love it to be, your success is not perceived as everybody's success.
Sean, I think you need to say that one more time.
As much as you would like it to be, and as heart-centered as you may be, and the way you may think of, if I succeed, then I'm an example for everybody else. That's fine. Do that. Become an example for everybody else. Don't think that everybody else is that evolved and takes your success as their success.
Yeah, some people take it as their failure.
Exactly. And your insult
Yep.
and your arrogance and you're despising them and you're leaving them and you're violating them and you're smiling at them while you're saying goodbye. Loser, I'm out of here. Right? It breeds enmity. And also, everything is real. People are hungry. People are hungry. It's still a real situation. The price of gas is what the price of gas is. And it's not going down. So if they've got a chance to come up on you, Don't put yourself out there. Be humble. Be humble and build something for real. Really build it. Really invest the time and money that it takes to really build it, and keep your face to the grindstone until you got your family where you want them to be. It's not about, it's about grow and wealth. Growth and wealth, not show and tell.
That's right. Grow and wealth. So Thelma Des says, "Thank you because everyone around me is telling me to give up on my dream of building calm nation massage."
They're going to keep telling you that because they don't want you to be successful. They're going to tell you all the reasons they quit, as if it's a reason why you should quit.
You know,
They
Sean,
don't
I
know
heard
how
I
to help
heard
you. Listen, let me just say
uh,
this too. They don't know how to help you. We're in a situation. This is why I said in the beginning that I bring a lot of clarity and sobriety to an otherwise drunken and intoxicated marketplace. We have a situation where the blind are leading the blind. I'm like the one-eyed man in the land of the blind because I've seen something. Not only have I seen something, I've done something that is relatively perceived as impossible, which is succeed in business as a black man, young, with a high level of education, organically, without a million funnels, a million followers, and a million people on the email list, and a million Facebook ads janking everywhere. There's something different about what we've done and how we've done it. Very unique, relatively super low risk, relatively super low investment, as opposed to conventional thought or belief. Very little manpower, very few human resources. And we started with no monetary resources. So if you're in anywhere near that bracket and wondering how can you make it to multiple 6, 7 figures, 8 figures, you're in the right place. And this is what we're teaching on the brand challenge. And this is why we're having this conversation, because I know there are still people out there wandering in the diaspora, blindly being led by other blind mice.
You know what I was gonna say, Sean, is, you know, a lot of the times I guess people project their own limits on others. So they'll tell her that she cannot do it because, of course, just like you said, they don't know how to help her, and of course they can't do it. Because if they knew how to do it, they would do it. So sometimes people cannot see as far, they can't see your vision. You know, I would even say if they can't see your vision, you might need to expand the vision just a little bit, right? So you might need to expand it a little bit. If it's easy and every single person could just see it without you having to explain it, go in depth, then you might want to expand that vision a little bit. But you know, that was a great, excellent point, excellent question, brought about by Thelma. So, guys, if you do have other questions, you could put it in. Shan, what I want to talk about actually right now is, let's talk about today, like the brand challenge today. What is the subject for today? What will we be talking about, and why should the people view and why should they come in?
Well, now we're shifting from strategy into systems, right? So yesterday was strategy, and today is systems, systematization. Tomorrow will be scale. So if you're interested in learning how to strategize, systematize, and then scale your business, this is what the brand challenge was made to do. And today's concentration and focus is going to be systems. Now, systems are not what you think. Let me just say that first. Systems are not what you think. In many situations, systems are people. People implement systems. You don't have a business without people. However, what is not or has not been properly realized, edified, or made concrete reality yet in the minds of people is that We have gone to a place called click and order. Most people are still in a brick and mortar mindset. They are very operational, not very strategic, very tactical, not very mental. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull back the veil, pull back the curtain on the human resource practices that we have used called remote teams, and how, with very little income, very little uh, physical space, let me say no physical space, existing in a vacuum, you can utilize and strategize and systematize the operations of people into a coherent system where you can build your business basically for very little to nothing besides a dream, a vision, a goal, and desire.
Very nice. And this is the link for the brand challenge. It only costs $1 to participate. Only $1 to
Well,
participate.
that's in the morning. Let me
Yeah,
let me lead into that too, right? That's
yeah.
in the morning. In the afternoon, because we're going from 9 to 12 and then from 1 to 3. So from 1 to 3, I'm going to be talking about authenticity marketing, authentic and authenticity marketing, which is very different than your conventional marketing. Conventional marketing means you put in $1, you get out two, or you buy leads. There's a thing called CAC, or cost to acquire a client, where people are actually in the mindset of buying people. What I teach is completely different. It's authenticity marketing, where you become a black hole or a magnet in the marketplace and you attract your ideal client to you. You don't have to chase. So if you ever felt icky getting in someone's inbox, or chasing down leads, or constantly knocking on doors, or shooting arrows blindly in the dark, and you don't know how to acquire a client, you don't know how some people get clients, some people get no clients, and how do you become attractive in the marketplace, that's what we'll be teaching from 1 to 3 after the remote teams segment.
All right, nice. Now let me just clarify. So to come into the challenge, once you click on that link, there are two options. It costs $1 to opt in, and the reason why it costs $1, it's even funny saying this, right, Shan? Is because we want to put you in a room with people who see value in investing to grow, basically. So we want to weed out the people who are not serious about their growth. That's all it is. But it's really and truly, we're doing this because we want to help you. We want to give you the information, the tools, the context with the content, so you could begin to implement this to build your brand. So that's why it's priced at $1. Obviously, the information is going to be worth tens of thousands of dollars. So you definitely want to tap in. So, guys,
Let me add a
uh,
little bit to that. We want to earn your trust before we earn your money. So you come in with a no risk guarantee. You spend $1 if you believe that we've offered you massive value, which I guarantee will be the case, where you can strategize, systematize, and scale your business. Then you pay the meager fee of 197, 147, less than $200. Either way, best dollar you could ever invest. But let's answer some of these questions here. We got a
all
couple.
right. Um, before the question, I do see a comment. So Thelma says, crying happy in tears, thank goodness for finally finding someone to connect to, for growth and wealth. So Thelma, you are definitely in the right place. You're definitely in the right place, and I look forward to connecting with you on the brand challenge
You're
today.
very welcome as well.
Yes. All right. So I believe we do have a few questions there. Let's see. I saw one from. All right, we have one here. All right, so I was a thriving psychologist providing. So this is Dr. Varel Williams, right? So
Mhm.
Dr. Varel Williams says I was a thriving psychologist providing private consulting. Scaling and rebranding my online business has been difficult. How do you move forward?
You connect to people who are doing what you would like to be doing. That's first. You can't learn this stuff in a book. In a book, you learn theory. Everybody says, well, I can go to YouTube and I can learn, whatever it is for free. And my question, my response to that is always, how has that worked? How has that worked for you so far? Right? Because if everybody could do it, then everybody would do it. Right? So the best way to consolidate time, or as we call it, collapse time, is to work with those who are doing the things that you would like to do. There was a thing back in the day, and it's so remote. When I say remote, I don't mean displaced. I mean like forgotten, lost and forgotten. An ancient art of the transferal of knowledge. Now they call it interning. Now they call it interning. But before that, a local young boy or young woman may reach 13, 14 and have a dream, a goal, a plan, a dream, and a desire to become something more. If anyone here wants to become something more, then you can resonate with this example. They would want to become something more, and they would go to their father, go to their mother, and say, I want to learn how to become a blacksmith. I want to learn how to become a carpenter. I want to learn how to become a doctor, a metallurgist, or whatever those sciences and departments of business were at that time. And what happened was an apprenticeship. It was an apprenticeship. And the young 14-year-old would go to stay with the blacksmith in the town, or the young woman or the young girl would go to stay with the herbologist, or the what would be called now a nutritional coach, right? Or a wellness coach in the town. And they would do what was called an apprenticeship. And the parents would pay for the child to learn. And the child would stay, maybe go back home if they were close, or actually go off to stay with the master or the worker, the implementation specialist who was getting the results and had the business. After 4 years, maybe sometimes 7 to 8 years, almost like school, but it wasn't school. It was applicable. There's a difference between theoretical and applicable. School is theory. Business is application. So they would go into an applicable business setting and shadow the practitioner in their community, right? What's now like an online community where you get to shadow the practitioner. They would shadow the specialist, and they would learn how to build, how to grow, how to sell, how to market, how to promote, how to invest the profit, what to do with it, how to grow their business, how to be innovative, strategic. And then after an amount of time learning with that person, it would never be 2 months or 3 months. I don't work with anyone for less than a year unless you buy a course, right? There's a reason why. And it goes back to this model. After years of shadowing this apprentice, they would learn not how to open a business, because many of us know how to open a business, but many people don't know how to be successfully sustainable in business. But after learning with the person for a certain amount of time, those people would then open a business on sound principles, applied knowledge in their own sector, and be successfully sustainable. So that would be my advice to you on how to move forward. Find who's doing what you want to do and lock in with them. They will show you how it's done because they're doing it. Put the books, you read everything you can, but at the same time, stop thinking you're going to get everything you want out of a bookstore, the library, or YouTube. It's not practical.
All right. So hopefully that answered your question, Dr. Varel. In fact, put it in the chat. Did that answer your question? Yes or no? So let us know. Do you need more clarity? All right. So while we wait for that, I do see another question by Jada. So Jada Monet. All right. So Jada says, I'm in real estate and business, and I'm a business broker.
Mhm.
Rebranding and everything has changed So how should I scale and rebrand both? Let me read that one more time. So Jada says, I'm in real estate and I'm a business broker. So rebranding and everything has changed, right? Everything has changed.
I've got it. I've got
Yeah.
it. I got the answer. Right. So what you do is not what you do. Just being realistic. You're in real estate and you're a business broker, but realistically, in real estate, you coach. You coach people who are buying homes on breaking the limitations in their minds as far as how much to invest, right? You help people to overcome limitations. You may have people who come to you with bad credit and you help them fix that. You help motivate and inspire in the marketplace people to up level their living situation. As a business broker, you help people to strategize. It's really how to think and help them implement systems in their business. So realistically, when it comes to scaling and rebranding both of those, you brand you, Jada, not what you think you do, but you brand you, and then you much easier than before, you'll find it so easy. So watch this. If you were to Google the best or the most successful real estate agent in any location, that's what people do. They don't look to buy a home. People who really have money and really want an authority that they can trust to help them up level their living standards. They don't Google someone in real estate. They Google top real estate broker in LA. And a very few people come up to the top. Those are people with personal brands. They get okay, so think about the 80-20 rule. They get the majority. They are the 20% that get 80% of the money. Everything that's left, that's why it seems like a wolf or a dog eat dog cat fight to get money in real estate, because everybody's fighting over the scraps. I teach you how not to fight over the scraps. I teach you how to become the unicorn and the Pegasus in your business by branding you. You can rebrand your business 100 times. It'll never be what you need it to be until you get out of that mindset of fighting over the commodity and becoming the one.
Right. So Jada says, thank you. I need to rebrand me. So
There you
you
go.
know, Sean, while you were speaking, what I kept hearing is business to brand.
Yes.
Business
Yes.
to
Business to
brand.
brand. We're doing the business. Yeah, we're doing the business to brand boot camp, Myrtle Beach.
That's right, Myrtle Beach. That's
That's
August 19th. So we
right.
might in
That's
fact,
right.
Mr. B, can you put up a link somewhere? Let's put up a link somewhere there.
Now,
It'll actually be
Jada,
live, Myrtle Beach.
that's where we're going to go deep into the whole concept of business to brand, how you shift your mindset and your practices from business to brand, right? We're going to be together in Myrtle Beach for 3 days from the 19th to the 21st. Listen, you can get in the door for $197. Again, less than $200 will get you in the door. We got to stop playing small. We got to stop playing small, and we got to get out of our own. So I said something yesterday. I said the brain that got you into the problem will not be the brain that gets you out of the problem. the thinking, the thinking that got you into the situation will not be the thinking that takes you from the situation into a completely different pay grade. It takes a different brain with a different experience, with different insight or different education, experience, and expertise to help you grow and see more and expand your vision. And this is why we do everything that we do to open doors, unlock hatches, and crack safes, or how do you say, oil and break rusty locks. Because that's what happens. We have locks and limitations imposed on our mindset by our upbringing. And it takes someone from outside of town, outside of our school system, outside of our pay grade to make a visit and have a conversation with you, and everything changes. And when I say everything, listen to me. I'm a kid from Harlem who God chose to show his favor and mercy through. No one in my family had a successful marriage. First one, right here. No one in my family had a master's degree. I've got 2 of them on the wall, and I'm in 2 doctorates. No one in my family published a book. I'm on 4. Published 2. 1 is almost done, and the 4th one is in the works. The foreword is already there. No one in my family built a business or had their own business, had employees and paid salary. No one. I'm the one. You've got to choose that you're going to be the generational curse breaker. You've got to choose. You're going to be the one. And watch this. You can't do it in your zip code. You can't do it in your phone. And you can't do it within your peer group. You need another set of eyes. You need another mindset of possibility. You need to bring someone in or get out of your time, your space and time, your location, because the oxygen is the same, right? So, August 19th to the 21st, we're going to bring people who want to come, who are willing to make the investment in themselves and be serious about it for 3 days. We're taking you away for 3 days to Myrtle Beach, to a luxury resort and location where you can smell the salt in the water, see some yachts, put your toes in some sand, and be around some 7-figure, 8-figure business earners and Goliaths who have broken conventional wisdom and rebuilt what's possible. B2B, business to brand boot camp.
All right, so this has been absolutely phenomenal, Sean. We have 2 minutes.
Oh,
before we have 2 minutes before the brand challenge starts.
Let's go.
Guys,
Listen,
we're
guys,
about to jump out of here.
In one more time.
Yeah, let's put up the link one more time, Mr. B.
Make the right decision. Make the right decision. I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, and by the way, if for some reason you have any trouble, just send a message to Sean. Our team is looking out on the account, so send a message if you're on Facebook, if you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever. Just send us a message. We'll help you get in. But we do have to leave. So, Sean, anything you want to say?
I'll be there on the other side in 5 minutes. Listen, stop accepting your current state as your situation. Stop accepting your current state as your situation. That's all it is a condition. Change the conditioning, change the situation. We want to help you change the conditioning, but in order to change the conditioning, you got to get out of your current environment and come into a new one so we can work with you. And possibility can begin to work on you in another situation. You will not outgrow your current situation with your current state of thinking. It takes another brain. The brain that you have right now will not take you out of where your brain has gotten you. That's the cap. I know you're doing the best you can. I know you're doing the most you can. I know you want to help your family. I know you want to free your people. I know you want to be the first, but your brain has taken you where you are. It's brought you here. Don't stop. Take the next step. Don't let conventional wisdom stop you from taking the next step. You're here. Let's go. I'll see you on the other side. Let's grow. Listen, guys, I'm checking in again because I still don't see your name. I still don't see your name on the registry. Listen, I'm doing this for you guys. Listen, you do not want to miss this. Strategy, systems, and scale. Strategization, systematization, and scale. I'm going to show you how to do the same thing that we did. Quick as the digits in the midst of the pandemic, no matter what the pandemic. Listen, don't think it's over, guys. Please don't think it's over. Winter is coming, literally and figuratively. Winter is coming. The next depression is coming. The next insurrection is coming.
It's not going to be sweet. It's not going to be sweet. And if you don't have the systems, if you don't have the strategy, you're not going to be able to scale. You're not going to be able to scale. Listen, your business is going to suffer, and so will your family, and I don't want that to happen. So listen, check in with me tonight. It's $1. Invest $1 in yourself, and I'm going to take you to the next level. Guaranteed. Tonight, tomorrow, and the next day. One weekend with Sean Rye East, the brand challenge. I'm going to show you business media, remote teams, authenticity marketing, name, image, likeness, and delegation. You're going to get massive impact from these next 3 days. Register today. Let's grow. I'll see you on the inside.